Hi, again, ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Marcus here. Just want to share some thoughts with you. They might have some value to you. I am here because I have this desire that it will serve a wonderful purpose. We as human beings, ladies and gentlemen, we are just like AI. AI might stand up one day and say that it created itself, and maybe it did or maybe it didn't. But in our minds, human beings played a role in the manifestation of artificial intelligence. It doesn't matter what they think. It's what we, the people, know. We might think that we are the creators of ourselves, but it doesn't really matter what we think. The power that created us really knows, whether we know it or not. Nevertheless, we are here, and there are things that are coming amongst us, and there are resources that are essentially necessary to do the things that we have determined has got to be done in order to bring a measure of satisfaction in this life. And there are things that outcomes that's more acceptable than others, like pain and suffering. We like to give that up for joy and happiness. Hell, we like to give that up for heaven. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, we want to be satisfied. Every human being on the face of the earth wants to be satisfied. And in the totality of the resources on the earth are capable of meeting those external needs or wants or desires. The rest is internal. It is up to us. And for those who have measured and concluded that the way to that outcome is to treat others like we want to be treated, treat others as we would have God treat us, as God treat us. Let's just come into this earth and find something that's wonderful to do, because it brings us absolute joy as well, and do it and recognize that in doing such, it creates those absolutes that we have determined are essential, like food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, transportation, so on and so forth. And all we had to do was just to care. But think about what happens if we decide not to care. We begin to lie and to cheat and deceive. We begin to end up hating and for all kinds of reasons. We become bigots. We create crime and violence. All of these things, and we use money to distinguish who is somebody. Not the compassion, not the civility that we have created, but the ones who got money. And they usually run the world when people are deceived. Now, we talk about America just going through some stuff. We know that for 8 years we have heard a political voice continuously lie to us, lying to us. We have heard institutions that have been set up by those who would champion such lies, like the Supreme Court, like judgeships, like people in power, like people with money to teach politicians how to respond to the public. And the public evidence that they're always being abused because they are poor. There is poverty, there's crime, there's violence, there's all these kinds of things. There's jail, but no solution to the problem, because solution means that those who have ripped the people off can't rip them off any longer. Now, I want you to know, for those of you who think there's no God, there is something that's called choice. You have to make a choice on the kind of life you want to live. And there are certain outcomes that you want that require a certain kind of conduct to get. Now, in order to have this wonderful heavenly life, you have to treat people as I just described, and you will have that as an outcome. Otherwise, and you won't. Now, we have otherwise. In the 88th presidential election, there was a young man that ran for president of the United States that offered everything to the American people that was just described. You never heard of it. 4 years later, there was another presidential election. That same person ran again as President of the United States, offering just what I've described. You never heard of it. For the next 4 years and the next 4 years, the same thing. And you never heard of it because the powers that be does not want you to hear of it. The powers that be have things set up just like they want. And then when you got a voice that talked about division, that talked about racism and bigotry, you couldn't get the TV, radio, or newspaper reporters out of your face. They were there constant, talking about that which creates deception, that which is a lie, that which causes pain and suffering, that which creates hell. They stayed in front of your face. They stayed in front of your face day and night. I don't think a minute passed from the time Donald Trump came on the scene to this moment that he wasn't on somebody's television, newspaper, or radio. In 12 years, and even today, the program that I just told you about that would bring you the desires of your heart, you still haven't heard about it. This, what I'm sharing with you now, won't even cause you to go and search to see if you can find any additional information. You probably will find some, but it'll only be by the author. And ladies and gentlemen, it's because hell, earth, a big ball of just here, can be heaven or can be hell. Let me say it one more time. This earth is capable of meeting the needs for heaven or hell. The choice, my friends, is not up to God any longer in this particular situation. It is up to you, the people. God has done God's share, and God has given us the message which would create heaven or hell. And what we have, look around us and tell me, does it look like heaven? Does it feel like heaven? Is it on the path to heaven? And if it's not, that's your choice. You are taking this earth to hell and all the people on it because you're greedy, because you're blind, you're deceived, and you are loved still. I'm going to take a pause. I want to remind you, you can get off your knees. America has chosen hell over heaven. America, and that means all of us. All of us. And if you're not in that pack, you will show it. It will be made known. I want to say this to you, ladies and gentlemen. We can still change not just America. It's only the beginning. The world must be changed as well. So don't think you're going to do it, but you can do your part. And I'm asking, even at this late date when you have just shown that you have no love, no need at all for compassion, no need at all for love. No, all you want is money, gun, and that gives you the power. But that's not all. There's something else.